even shocks me. Come on in. Have my tea. My favorite way to drink it too.
A miracle is happening to me. I'm finally learning what a home can be. Within these walls, I have learned to fly, to take charge of my life, and find the peace inside me. Within these walls, we love and work and play, finding joy along the way. And now I want to stay within these walls. Within these walls, my thoughts would pull me down. I wouldn't look around to see that love surrounds me. Within these walls, friends now gather here, and laughter fills the air. It's all that I was wanting. I've tried before to do it alone. Now I found a way to make a home. Within these walls, I have learned to fly, to take charge of my life, and find the peace inside me. Within these walls, we love and work and play, finding joy along the way. And now I want to stay within these walls. Within these walls, I have learned to fly, to take charge of my life, and find the peace inside
I've
me.
got tea.
Within these walls, we love and work
Decaf
and
tea.
play, finding joy along the way. Now I want to stay within these walls.
Well, usually by the end of that song, we've got 200 people in here, and we don't. We have only 124. I don't know what's going on with the internet today. I'm about to give up, go take a nap, you know. So, folks, we got decaf tea in. I put it in my water bottle. We have the seafoam green and the navy blue. This one has water in it, and this one has my hot tea. Justin called me this morning bright and early, and he'd been hunting, deer hunting. It's deer season. And he said, you know, for the first time ever, I got to have a cup of hot coffee in the deer stand. And it's because he took it in his water bottle. Hot coffee in his water bottle. So this will keep your tea hot for several hours. It'll still be hot at 9 o'clock tonight, and it's decaf, so I could drink it then. Let's see. Get your calendars ordered because we're closing. And let's see. Today's the 10th. So we are closing in 10 more days. Last day to order from the fly shop is the 20th. So get your stuff ordered. And shippers are going to be backed up, so better get it done now. So let's drink up. Let me tell you what not to do. Don't take a Zicam just before you get your tea. It just ruins the taste. I think Zicam ruins your taste buds anyway. I'm going to have to get some kind of zinc that I can just swallow and not roll around in my mouth. Don't like it. But I need to take my zinc because I love me. I want to take care of me. And having a good supply of zinc in your system with COVID all around is a good thing. So let's drink our tea. And if you don't feel good and you got some sinus infection things going on, get your humidifier going. Let's take care of ourselves. Let's take care. Because if you don't take care of you, who will? Who will? So, pardon me. I got a tickle. Oh, that's good for what ails you. Betsy says she has the swallow bowl type. I may have to get some of that. I don't take multivitamins because I throw them up. I can't cough through this whole thing. Trying to stop the cough reflex. Because that goes into the gag reflex for me, and that is not pretty. Anyway, I told you I was going to tell you a story this afternoon. And many, many, many years ago, Robert and I have been married 24 years. So it was the summer 24 years ago. Robert has premonitions, and they come to him in the vehicle of a song. And I like songs too. But he only listens to classical music. Well, this song that he had come into his head was quite strange for him because it was from a musical, and he doesn't really watch musicals. But he had this premonition in a song to the song Someone to Watch Over Me. Now, let me back the story up a little bit. He has collected coins his whole life. He loves to collect old coins, and all the time he has noticed something over the years, that in the summertime, beginning of summer, in his pocket change, he would find old coins just show up. And he was thinking about when he was a child. He got those little blue books, little pennies you put pennies in. We had them. He remembered buying a penny that he couldn't find. He had collected all the pennies in the blue book, and there was one penny. It was a penny that was minted in San Francisco, and it was a 1957 penny. Now that penny, he was just thinking about that penny, and he thought to himself, he paid 50 cents for that penny when he was a 10-year-old. And that was a tough year for Robert. His father died when he was 10 years old, and he was just, it was a tough year. So he paid 50 cents for this penny, and he felt like that was cheating. Well, that summer, he remembered that penny. And in just a few days, in his pocket change, and he would pay cash for lunch when he was out being a judge. He'd pay cash for lunch, he'd pay cash for breakfast, and he would get change back. And in his pocket change one day that summer, he got a minute in San Francisco, 1957 penny. And he thought to himself, I just thought about that 2 or 3 days ago, and here it's showing up. And then he had the premonition of this song, Someone to Watch Over Me. And if you don't know that song, you should look it up on YouTube because you can hear it. Someone to Watch Over Me. And it was just a powerful message to him that God had affirmed this penny was put in his hands, and that God was going to send him someone to watch over him. And then in about a month's time, he met me. He didn't put two and two together then, but within 6 weeks of our meeting, we were engaged, and within 3 months, we were married. And we've been married 24 years. You just, when you know it's right, you don't mess around. You just don't mess around. My sister Patty, it was so funny. The first date I had with Robert lasted for a weekend. I met him on a Wednesday, and then we had dinner together on a Friday, and then Saturday we met for lunch, and then we went on this wild goose chase, chasing down a tree limb to see what kind of tree it was. And I ended up cooking for him and spending the night at his house. Platonically, y'all. I just, platonically. I slept on the couch, which ended up being on the floor with the cat. And by Sunday afternoon, we went hiking. And by Sunday night, I called my sister Patty and I said, I'm going to marry Robert Silly. And she says, you're going to jinx it. And we've been together ever since. I mean, it's just, when you know it's right, it's right. And you have to remember things like that and bring those memories back to life by telling somebody about them. Because if you don't, when you're stuck together in the same house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, sometimes you forget how compatible you are. And I need to tell you about how wonderful he is. He's been retired. He retired at 60. Totally retired at age 60. He's 72 now. He's been retired for 12 years. And we've been together 24/7, except for that first year I went to work every day. But the last 3 days has been really cold outside. And Robert doesn't have any heat in his office downstairs. And so he's real good about going out and cutting trees and filling up the wood racks. And, he's good about staying out of my hair. But the last 3 days, I have probably done a little whining to Liz and Patty, just a tiny bit. Saying, we should pray for it to get warm outside. Pray for it to get warm. Because I can't turn my music up. I can't turn my podcast up and listen to it. I have to listen to it in the AirPods, which is okay. But sometimes I just want background noise over there. And so it's good to remember why you fell in love with somebody. Now, next year will be our 25th anniversary. And we have letters that we wrote each other the day we got married. And we got married in this house. We got married in front of our fireplace. And we only had like 13 people, 14 people, including us at the wedding. Patty was there and Jessica, my niece Jessica. So, it's kind of nice to know that fire he builds for me just about every day, and the firewood he stacks up and does, it all just rekindles our relationship every day to think about those memories, those little memories. And it's okay. It's just okay. It's wonderful. Now, this morning when I was doing my show, that cardinal came back today. And I saw it in full view, just in full view, wings spread out. And, the window's dirty, so it's not like they're seeing their reflection in the window. That bird was trying to tell me something, and I choose to believe that it was my nephew coming. My nephew coming to say hi, and that he's okay. It's just a confirmation that he is fine. And I know he's fine. I know he was ready to go to heaven. I knew a year and a half ago that when he, well, it was a year and 2 months ago that he got out of prison. Well, not even that. In 2 days it'll be 13 months. I knew he was ready for whatever came his way. And he had a terrible, terrible disease. Stage 4 cancer. And my goal was to help him get to heaven any way I could, to take the burden off of him of trying to make a living and trying to survive and still dealing with cancer because, he couldn't get a job. So that was my job, to take a burden off of him and be there for him because he was so sick and he suffered horribly. So I'm glad he came to see me with the Cardinal because he knew I would recognize the Cardinal. And it's because of y'all that I recognize the Cardinal as being a messenger. Because back last year, I had a Cardinal come into my window every day for 2 weeks. I would hear it in the living room and come back here and watch it fluttering up against the window. And it was saying, hi, hi. So this one's saying, hi, Aunt Marla, I'm okay. So you have to remember the good times, not dwell on all the bad. And when you start feeling bad, pull out your happiness file. Just like I did with telling the story about Robert and someone to watch over me. Telling those stories makes them double in happiness power. Let's see, somebody's saying something. I don't know what that means. Anyway, folks, y'all have a good rest of the day. I like a gratitude jar too, Elizabeth. I also like a jar that you just put your loose change in, and then you save your loose change in this jar for a year, and then at Christmas you put a bow on it and put it on somebody's doorstep that might need it, or just hand it to somebody. Just hand it to somebody. So we can do good deeds, simple little things. They don't have to be big. Throwing your pocket change in a jar every day. I've cooked Thanksgiving dinner with that. Our Christmas dinner one time, $23.82. Made a nice little Thanksgiving dinner. I don't know the legend of a dragonfly. I just know I do what I can every day. When I see a need, I try to fulfill it in some way if it's in my power. I love you all. It is so important that you love yourself. Because stopping for these few minutes every afternoon is good for you. It's good for you to calm down, to take some deep breaths, to practice your breathing, and do what you can to take care of yourself. Because if you don't, who will? I love you all. Spend some time being quiet today. Be quiet. You don't have to have noise going all the time. Be grateful. Start your happiness jar. Write things you're grateful for on little sheets of paper and put them in their jar. And then when you start feeling bad, pull that gratitude jar out and just start reading them. Just start reading them. Somebody loves tea time. I love tea time too. Well, y'all be good, kind, and sweet. Do a good deed. Well, FlyLady has dragonfly wings. Somebody said I put dragonfly wings on her. Yeah, she has dragonfly wings. She's your biggest cheerleader too. Say a prayer for my brother-in-law. He had to go to the doctor today and get COVID tested before he could even go into the doctor's office. He's having vertigo again, so keep Jay in your prayers. I love you all. I will see you in the morning. And it'll be Friday. Yep.